We need to think very carefully about the way our society is developing, because we are now trusting bureaucracy and paperwork more than we trust experience and somebody's gut instinct. Somebody's gut instinct would intervene to allow, or rather not to allow, someone like Prigozhin to exploit our systems in order to pursue a vendetta against a British journalist, Elliot Higgins, as I was talking about yesterday. Somebody with gut instincts would presumably be able to cut in and not offer asylum or residence to somebody who has convictions in Serbia, murder convictions in Serbia, and the atrocity of the murder of Tom Robbins may then not have happened. It's criminals and people who can employ canny lawyers who can get round and who can understand the complexity of our bureaucracy. Our bureaucracy has got so complex that it is good for nothing. It's only good for employing extremely expensive lawyers. We need to get down to the basic principle of good, clear English, because a lot of the paperwork that I see is impenetrable. And it should be immediately understandable. If I can't understand it, and I'm supposed to be a professor, then how can somebody whose first language is not English understand this rubbish? How can we expect somebody applying to come and live in this country, applying for a visa, to understand some of the questions which are put to you? And a lot of them are phrased in such a way as to entrap the person who is filling in the form. We shouldn't be entrapping people. We should be enabling people. We should be clear. We should be using clear English. And at the same time, I think we should have people on the ground who are making informed decisions rather than relying solely on what the computer says. The computer says no. And the same judgment should apply right at the top of our government. If Rishi Sunak has doubts about Zahawi, then he should act on his doubts. It's very simple. He pulls the rug from under Nadim Zahawi. It's no reflection on Zahawi's moral or legal character. He just is no longer the minister without portfolio who happens to be the Conservative Party chairman. People serve in government at the whim of the Prime Minister. And a Prime Minister who allows somebody to serve who cannot do the job is a weak and silly Prime Minister. Mr. Zahawi cannot do the job because the only time he goes on television, the only time he will be seen, he will be inundated with questions about his finances. He will not be able to do his job. In the same way as a minister who's got his hands in the stationery cupboard and is messing around in some sort of extramarital affair cannot do his or her job, because the only question they can possibly be asked is about their moral character and about the relationship that they're illicitly pursuing in the stationery cupboard. And the list goes on and on and on. If somebody cannot do their job, they shouldn't do it. They should resign. If they can't resign, they should be sacked. So simple. It's not a reflection on their moral character. It's a reflection on their ability to do the job. And as for visas and as for the rest, we need to start trusting people with experience and people who can make a judgment. We need to stop trusting the computer.